guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. As the men in Ukraine and Russia go to battle each other and end up dying in trenches and getting crap dropped on them and drones flying into them and exploding, their women are partying and clubbing it up and having a good time. Oftentimes even if you go back to the old conflicts, there's literally a term for it called the Dear John letter, where men would go off to fight in war and conflict, and they know they're probably losing their life, and you see the guy take his helmet off, and there's a picture of his girlfriend or wife or kids, family, whatever in there, or he opens the pocket watch like you see in all the movies, and it swings open, and there's a picture of his beautiful girl, and they're fighting for her. In the meantime, she is at home getting boned by somebody else. And it's not the men that wanted to go into conflict. It's the powers that be or on both sides. One's the aggressor, one's the defender. And the men are pawns that are just kind of pushed around the board. Now, I served for 4 years in the military. I did so proudly, knowing I might be defending my country against aggressors and invaders, both foreign and domestic, and all the other things you're told as a young person, only to realize later on we're usually the aggressors here in the United States, and we're going to fight battles and wars that aren't really necessary. Some of it is, crap that's been made up by the CIA. Others of it is to go over and just topple a regime and let somebody else that's supposedly friendly to us in there versus maybe the guy that was doing just a fine job leading his own country, but maybe didn't want to bow down to the U.S. And over time you realize, wow, we're a horrible country. I was sold a whole lot of lies as a young man. But nonetheless, I did. Well, here we've got a video that is from a nightclub in Ukraine. I'm not sure which city. And as these men are out laying in trenches and running out of ammo and really struggling out there, and many, probably hundreds of thousands at this point, despite what the media tells you, hundreds of thousands of men on either both or either side are not going home. Their women are out at the club getting their groove on. Now, you'll notice that there's about 90% women here, and there's about 10% of men. And somebody on this post, I didn't bring up the Twitter post that posted it, but it was in Ukrainian. It was in Ukrainian because I did the translate. Seems like most of the men here, the only ones that aren't conscripted to go off and fight are either foreigners or tourists or visitors. So while these ladies dance and have it fun, and the men are off defending their families and their girlfriends and their wives and everything else, the girls are partying it up with a bunch of strangers that have nothing to do with the country and are just there. What do you think? These women feel a little lonely. They just need some comforting and, 7 inches of comforting from a good-looking guy named, I don't know, Vlad. I'm only going to play the music for a second, but you're going to hear that it's club time. And you can see they're having at it. Now I'm going to mute this, and I'm just going to let this play here. But you can see there are guys there. Not a whole lot of them in this particular shot, but there's a dude there, and there's another guy there, and another guy right there. And she's even got a guy dancing right behind her. They're booty shaking and twerking, having a good time. And there's men right now laying out in cold water, hungry, running low on ammo, worrying if the next salvo is going to end up taking their lives. And these are the people they're fighting for. Do these people look like they're in solidarity with the men fighting? Do these people look like they're thinking about everything that's going on right now, or are they just having a good time? A lot of times we men think, well, I was good to her, and after she leaves me, someday she's going to regret this, and she's going to be thinking all about me. And in the meantime, they don't even think about you when you're still together and you're off fighting. Because there's no way this is all 100% single women. These girls have boyfriends, but here's a bunch of dudes out there, and girls are still wearing all the makeup and wearing the shorty shorts and trying to look attractive. And yeah, women look attractive for each other, but you going to tell me that none of these girls are going to hook up with these guys? Now, I don't see a lot of face-on-face dancing, but I was in Ukraine, and Ukraine is much more, what's the word I want to look for? They're a little bit more conservative. They're not so overt with their intentions in public. Many other countries are the same way, especially in the Eastern blocs that I saw while I was traveling. Now, that may not be the norm, but that's what I encountered. For example, when I was in Kyiv, is that women were even uncomfortable to give a peck on the lips or to kiss, even after a date, if there was a chance that somebody else could see. They'd usually wait until the end of the evening when you were maybe at their doorstep, and even then they might even glance around quickly to make sure no one's paying attention because they keep that part of their lives private. So while all the guys are out there with their struggles, these women are just partying it up. And here's another video. This is from Law and Crime. This young lady was now this is a little bit different. This is not so much fighting, but I want you to see kind of the lack of remorse and the lack of care for other people. And it doesn't mean that we need to be like that. I don't want to be the same type of monster and awful people that, these people are, where they just don't, because I think I'm more worried about the men fighting in these conflicts than even the people in their own countries sometimes. And I mean that as a general blanket statement. I don't mean all people in the countries. But do you think these people are overtly concerned with what their men are doing? Because I'll be honest with you, I've broken up. Or actually, let me correct that. I've been broken up with. I had a girl cheat on me and leave me before. It left me with a black hole in my chest the size of a bowling ball, where you just lay there and you can't pay attention to anything, and you're not hungry. You can't sleep, but you're also exhausted, and you're bummed out. And something's on TV, and you got it real bad, right? When a commercial comes on and it's playing a song maybe that the two of you liked, and you're like, oh, Burger King, why did you do this to me? Right? You guys have been there. And if your buddies are like, hey, man, let's go out. We'll take you to a topless bar or something or other. We'll get your mind off this. The best way to get over a woman is to get on top of another woman. It takes time to even get to that point because at first you're like, nah, man, I just want to be left alone. Like, just let me lick my wounds and heal. These women aren't healing. They're not worrying about what's going on. And again, maybe they've been told there's nothing to worry about, but their men aren't there. And I have a feeling that if this were a video of a bunch of guys laughing it up, partying it up, even if there were no women there, if it was just the men partying it up, but the women were off, fighting the conflict, what would the headline say? Men, unsupportive, forget all about their women with the struggles while they go out and just have a good time. Insensitive, uncaring men. You could hear the headlines from here. I want you to hear insensitive. I may have to zip out a couple of these words for YouTube because it's YouTube. This young lady ended the lives of two people after she was drunk driving. And she wasn't concerned with anything other than herself. And I want you to hear this. I want you to hear the cognitive dissonance and disattachment and disassociation she has with her own actions and what she's actually done. I'm gonna play this through. You can hear for yourself.
Oh, hey, you never answered me about my car.
And the audio's really bad, but they wrote at the bottom of this what she's saying. I'm trying to do my best here.
I have school tomorrow, so how do I get my car for tomorrow?
Well, your car is totaled.
It's what?
Your car is totaled.
Totaled?
Totaled, wrecked.
Okay, so how do I get it to your school?
You don't.
So I don't go to school tomorrow, is what you're telling me?
No, ma'am. You want me to be honest with you?
I'm going to pause it here. So this is I think it's from a body cam on a police officer. And I know it's very mumbly, but she's saying, well, where's my car? He's like, it's totaled. And then she's like, so how am I going to get to school tomorrow? He says, you're going to jail.
You're going to jail. You don't have a bond. You killed 2 people tonight. I don't think you understand that. You do not have a bond. You are not getting out of jail. Your car is property of East Peoria Police Department because it's a crime scene. It killed 2 people tonight. You are clueless with that, clearly. I've already explained this to you. You're going to jail for reckless homicide tonight. You're going to jail for aggravated DUI for killing 2 people. That's what's going on. So no, you're not going to school tomorrow. You're not getting your car out of impound.
Now, I'm going to pause it there. You can see her nodding her head yes, like, yep, I got it. Yep, I got it. Is she agreeing and understanding what he's saying, or is she going, yeah, shut up, I want to say something now. You know, okay, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Okay, here's what I want to say. Because that's what it looks like to me.
Today is a Tuesday in my nightclub.
Did you just hear what I just told you?
You said I'm not going tomorrow. I'm talking about Tuesday.
Did you hear when I said that
I'm going to jail tomorrow.
You're going to jail when we're down here?
Yes.
Did you understand what I told that you killed 2 people tonight?
Yeah, so I'm just wondering when I can go to school.
Okay, we're done.
Yes, I heard you said I killed 2 people anyway, so when am I going to be able to go to school? You know, we goof a lot that younger generations, young people today have been told they're snowflakes, they can do no wrong, and the world is your oyster. They're not comprehending the real world. They're not understanding consequence. You know, it's been said many times that men, when they play with their children, they mostly play physically, which means they'll wrestle and tussle with their boys and girls, their sons and daughters. And when one of them gets too physical or maybe hurts one another, they learn the repercussions of that. They learn that as strong and as powerful as they think they are in that little tiny 3-year-old body, there's a force out there called Daddy that is way stronger and will make them suffer consequences for their bad actions. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean if she walks up and kicks him in the heel, he can just take a finger and poke her and push her down on her butt and say, hey, knock it off. We don't do that to each other. When you never have that pushback, you don't know the boundaries of what is and isn't acceptable. This is the girl's mugshot. Does she look concerned that she may be going away for life? No. Why? She doesn't have to pay for her consequences for her actions. She can get away with things. And this happens to people a lot. They get away with things. There's no consequences. And then when the real world slaps them in the face, unfortunately, many times they still get away with things. I mean, it all depends on what community you belong to, and do you say that you're part of the LDHD TV community and all the other oppressive things, right? There's her mugshot. And they say Peoria area woman receives 14-year prison sentence for the fatal DUI crash. 10th Circuit Court judge has sentenced a Farmington woman who pleaded guilty to pedestrians while doing it last April for 14 years. Now, you notice her face looks a little concerned. And she got 14 years.
Your all on body camera being completely careless about killing 2 people tonight. You could care less. That's sad and pathetic and horrible all at the same time.
Can you say that as a cop?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, so can I ask?
And then her last sentence is, okay, so can I ask where I can go back to school? You can go back to school either in the prison yard or in 14 years. I show this because I want you to remember. And it can make you sad. It can make you bummed out. And I don't want to do that. See, for me, I find this liberating. I find this very freeing. There are no social expectations upon me other than to not break the law and to do my own thing. Like that's really where I want things to be. Don't break the law. Don't hurt other people. Mind your own business. Do your own thing. There's never been a point in time where that's easier for men. You don't have to feel bad if you don't want to go fight for your military. You don't have to feel bad if you don't want to marry a woman. You don't have to feel bad if you don't want to have kids. You don't have to feel bad if you just want to, go hire a professional every couple of weeks and do your own thing. I look at this as liberation. not something bad. But I will leave it on a high. I will leave it on a high note for you guys for this weekend, because I don't want to be just Debbie Downer here. But we do need to face realities, and sometimes realities aren't that great. This is a video compilation that somebody at Get Your Passport put together. And I just did a video on this. I wish I had this for my video that I did the other day. But it says, when women realize the truth about being a strong, independent woman. Let's hear how they feel about how the world is going for them. And we'll leave this on a good note because, ladies, you get what you ask for.
Woman anymore. It's not all that it's cracked up to be.
This message is for my future husband, so if you're not my future husband, please keep scrolling. Daddy, I don't want to work anymore.
So, I decided that I need me a sugar daddy, but I want me a sugar daddy that don't want no sugar. That being this independent woman paying all the bills, like, that's ghetto. No, send my husband right now.
I don't know if anybody else has realized this, but this whole independent woman thing, I don't need nobody. I can do bad all by myself. It's feeling like a scam.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but the whole independent...
You notice something, don't you? None of these... Now, I think one, maybe two of the women were younger women right now. Likely they've got their gender studies degree. They're struggling to find anything other than a barista job, and they see maybe their female friends that can't afford the fancy cars and maybe a decent lifestyle, or they're seeing ballers that have it. And she says, I'm never going to get there myself. Bring me the bailout. But most of the women that are now in this video starting to come around and say, I don't want to be the strong, independent woman anymore. This was a bad deal. I just want a sugar daddy that doesn't want the sugar. I just want somebody that's going to, come in and sweep me off my feet and take care of me. You notice something, don't you? All of them look to be in their late 30s or early 40s. That old-time friend of ours, another brick in the wall. And now they realize my youth, my beauty, my advantage over men is fading. No man is going to come save me. And if I don't get something right now, I'm going to spend the rest of my life alone. And they don't like that idea.
I want to be independent. I got my own bag. Ladies, it's dead.
I know how Libby's. She got her own house. She got her own car. 2 jobs. Work hard. You a bad broad. I don't want to be a bad broad no more.
I started my own business.
She's like, I don't want to be a bad broad anymore. And I apologize for I wish people wouldn't put stupid music over this, but they do, and it either makes it demonetized on YouTube or it makes it really hard to hear what they're actually saying. Like, just shut up, and sometimes words are enough.
And I worked as a girl boss for 7 years. Now that I turned 30, I've realized that actually I am a very dependent person. Yes, I am independent, but
So she says, I've done my own thing. I'm a girl boss for 7 years. But then I hit 30, and then I realized I'm independent, but also I'm dependent. What changed? That 3-0, that realization that she's going to be single. And here's the problem, guys. They will always remain the independent girl bosses. The difference is they want you there as their backup plan or, for kids or for marriage or whatever. But they want you when their best years are done, not for the best years.
I'm someone who prefers depend on someone.
So that's all there is. I know it's very hard to hear, and you almost have to look at what they're saying across this, but this is becoming more and more and more prevalent. But it doesn't happen until it's too late. And if you saw all the women around you, and they're a little bit older than you, and they say, oh, woe is me, marriage didn't work out, I got divorced, or I'm still single, I'm never going to have the family I want, I'm so tired of working, I wish I could just retire early and settle down with a hardworking man and be a wife at home. And if you saw everybody in front of you saying that or doing that at some point in their lives, and then all the people your age saying, oh, this is empowering girl and this is great, and aren't you smart enough to put 2 and 2 together and look around and say, well, everybody my age thinks this way, but the older people feel completely different. I wonder what changes. and maybe realize, well, if I get to be their age, I'll probably feel the same way. Nope. That would require reflection, intelligence, foresight, critical thinking, all the things that many modern women seem to be lacking today. Guys, don't forget we've got Saturday night at the movies tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can go to betterbachelor.locals.com. It is free to sign up. It is free to watch the stream. You can chat with the other guys, check out the memes. We get pretty crazy. But you know something? Locals is free speech. Other than full-on, like, non-dressed people. Can't show the spicy content. Other than that, guys post some weird stuff. We got some weird comments in there. It's funny. It's sometimes over the top. It's sometimes enough I have to pause the movie and go, okay, guys, we gotta settle down now. That's part of the fun of it. It's just a bunch of guys being a little rowdy and a little raunchy, and I have to somehow placate the masses and keep everybody in line enough we can have some fun without everybody going crazy. And ironically, I'm usually the least sober one of the event, and they make me kind of keep it in line. So hope you jump over and check that out tonight. And then I'll have something out for you here in the next day or two, and we'll see you in the next one.